The 2025-26 Denver Nuggets. An all-time abomination of an epic disgrace of a travesty. Pathetic on all levels. Getting absolutely destroyed, abused, annihilated, and humiliated by the short-handed Timberwolves who chewed their little chicken nuggets all series. Punked by Jaden McDaniel, the guy Jamal Murray couldn't handle. Spencer Jones abused by Julius Randle. League needs to investigate Jokic for his no defense scandals. Dismantled by Terrence Shannon, punished the rim, flying like Jordan Kilgannon. Play scared of Rudy Gobert. Whole team act like they didn't care. Damage already done to no repairs. For the first time in Nikola Jokic's career, the no longer best player in the world has straight up been an absolute travesty this first round series. Has not been himself. We should have seen signs coming over his last two series, from looking like he could go down a top 5 player all time and supposedly the best offensive player ever according to analytic nerds. Absolutely not. Regular season basketball in this inflated era doesn't mean a damn thing if you can't elevate in the postseason. In each of the last 2 playoffs, Jokic has been contained last season by OKC, got hounded by the smaller Alex Caruso. You think guys like Shaq would let AC stop him? Absolutely not. In this series, the worst of his career, shot 45% from the field, 19 from deep, made lots of low IQ decisions. From always being composed and calm in the most intense situations, this the first time we see in his Hall of Fame career there was fear in his eyes going up against the Frenchman Rudy Gobert. If Jokic retired today, would he be a top 15 to 20 player all time? Absolutely. Should he be the next player to be put in all-time greatness after top 75? For sure. Was he the best player for a few years stretch this decade? Absolutely. Best passing center the league's seen? Sure, but to jump the gun and put him in all-time big men discussions, the most dominant and loaded position amongst all the greats, being in Shaq conversations, Hakeem Olajuwon discussions, let's be realistic. Has Jokic even surpassed Moses Malone all time or even David Robinson? His defense says otherwise. He's much closer to Malone's status right now than Hakeem and nowhere near Shaq himself. Now 31 years old, wasn't athletic and slow in his younger years, now he's older. Lots of heavy built centers don't tend to age well. His time at the very top of the league has been shrinking little by little. There's a 22-year-old center in San Antonio who checks all the boxes, might have already leapfrogged Jokic after this season's player rankings. If Wemby's healthy for years, might make us forget how great Jokic was. Yes, Nikola deserves all the praise and utmost respect as a franchise player, by far the best to wear a Denver Nuggets uniform. Just like what Giannis accomplished with Milwaukee, given the small market and competitive nature of today's NBA, how things got set up perfectly for teams like the Thunder and Spurs. Other teams just got better front offices. Being in bigger markets with deeper teams helps. Jokic himself confirms he wants to be a Nugget forever. Him and Giannis, cut from the same mindset, both godsends who fell into those teams' laps by accident. The Bucks and Nuggets franchise without them might not win a title for the next 30 plus years, but seeing how Milwaukee continues to dig themselves in a deeper hole trying to get Giannis help, all things have backfired. From the great Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday era to Miles Turner and Kyle Kuzma, will the same happen in Denver? Jokic has been with Jamal Murray, his one and only all-star teammate, and even that's pushing it. Murray clearly at the bottom shelf of NBA star status. Him and Jokic been together for almost a full decade. Aaron Gordon's gonna be 31, super injury prone, athleticism decline. Former GM Calvin Booth sabotaged the team with his incompetency. Otherwise, Denver likely would have made it back to the 2024 finals and be on verge of repeating. For a player who could do no wrong since 2021, Joker had a legitimate case of winning 6 straight MVPs. Already has 3, will probably finish top 2 for the 6th straight season, on verge of becoming the all-time triple-doubles leader before the end of 2026 calendar year. His past regular season, once again, nothing short of extraordinary. Became the first player to lead the league in rebounds and assists the same season, has the highest efficiency rating all time, and even the analytics on defense will have people saying he's a good defender when he's clearly not. The most unlikely all-timer, can dominate every regular season for the rest of this decade. might even win 2 more MVPs, but guess what? If he don't win another title and get flamed out early in the postseason, he won't be qualified to be in any top 10 discussions. The max Jokic can climb, become the best player to win 1 title, that's already better than greats like KG and Dirk Nowitzki, and is a compliment to his legacy. With no more rings, Jokic might slightly pass Jerry West, Oscar Robertson, and Moses Malone. At this stage of his career, all that matters is titles. Despite all that's gone right, these 2026 playoffs will forever leave a huge stain when the so-called best player in the world couldn't get past the first round against a hobbled Timberwolves team without Anthony Edwards, no Dante DiVincenzo, no Ayo Dosunmu for Game 6, ruining an all-time great semis matchup with the current megastar big man versus the future. Now it's looking like SGA's the current star of the league, Wemby's arrival to the very top happening anytime now, Jokic now being viewed a thing in the past, surpassed by Shea and possibly Wemby as best player in the world. Just like many of the all-timers, everyone's had terrible playoff series before. When you're an all-time great somewhere between 15 to 25, your name gets swept under the rug for having bad series, not getting as much blame as deserved because you're simply not in the GOAT conversation. But when you're compared to the very best, everything you do on the basketball court will be closely monitored. All your struggles will go against you. The little details only die-hard fans will remember. Given what happened to Kevin Durant's first season with Houston, he ain't close to being in any GOAT conversation. Steph Curry's 2016 finals will be used against him. LeBron choking in 2011, no matter how many rings he wins afterwards, because of that, many will never see him surpass MJ. Many disqualify Kobe from MJ talks after his 2004 finals, just like Dirk choking 2007 round 1. Thank God SGA is winning the MVP again. Can you imagine Jokic winning the award for the 4th time and getting sent home round 1, getting his MVP trophy shipped to Serbia? Losing to a banged up team he was heavily favored against, his numbers might have looked good on a surface level, but the defense was an absolute disgrace. No series exposed Jokic more than this one himself. Everything that transpired over the last couple of weeks when facing adversity and tough times, every player on Denver acting like chicken nuggets. Not only did his squad get embarrassed, they got punked, bullied, and spanked by Jaden McDaniel, Ayo, and Terrence Shannon, guys averaging 5 points a game, having their game of their lives, getting uncontested layup, almost same as players from overseas getting signed last minute to fill roster spots, having helpless flat-footed Jokic, not being able to stop anybody in the paint. We all know he's a bad defender, but when his offense ain't good enough to overcome how ineffective he's been on the defensive end, I'm sorry, but that's not the type of franchise player you build around. Without another defensive specialist sharing the floor with Jokic, he's helpless out there. Why do you think Denver's been in so many close games against lottery teams all season that had no business competing with them? Jokic absolutely missed Aaron Gordon, but that still doesn't excuse him from failing to win against a team without Anthony Edwards' last 3 games, losing 2 of them, without key starter Dante DiVincenzo. His entire squad fragile like pencil. Minnesota scored at least 105 points every game of the series when the Nuggets failed to crack above 100 3 times. Just like every franchise player, after enduring too many tough times, Dallas finally able to fully maximize their squad around Dirk after acquiring defensive monster Tyson Chandler, a true big that allowed Nowitzki to play his game to the fullest without worrying too heavily on D. Jokic caught in no man's land. His lack of D destroyed his team when he knows he's not athletic enough to defend quicker guys without committing a foul, has to give up those easy layups, doesn't jump because he needs to box out and get rebounds. Knowing how important he is to the team, combined with the bad knee injury, his outside shot has not been the same since. Still absolutely not an excuse for getting bounced this early on. His bag of tricks has run out against the team and GM that's most familiar with him. Credit to Tim Connolly's game plan. Shot 42% when Gobert guarded him, 6 of 24 from deep, 13 turnovers. What we saw all series, a layup session from the Timberwolves, allowed an average 33.4 points per game at the rim, indefensible by all measures, and that's not because of Anthony Edwards. Not only was Jokic getting scored on, not contesting at all the Wolves had to do was attack the paint and keep attacking. While Jokic struggled for dear life trying to set up a good possession, that often resulted in wasted energy, tough shots that had no chance of going in, providing no resistance at the rim. It's like a double whammy. When you stink on defense as a big man, at least when you're a small guard or even a forward, you can hide your D when you got a defensive specialist saving you from missed lapses. But when your guards can't stay in front of anybody and you're a terrible defender as the center, you simply cannot hide it and get brutally exposed. There's no way of hiding a big who can't remotely protect the paint. This was some disgusting Jahlil Okafor and his Canner shit out there. I'm sorry, you can't be in any all-time top 10 conversation being this terrible on the other side of the ball. One can argue Jokic losing Aaron Gordon more brutal than not having Jamal Murray. Since a healthy AG, the most athletic player on his team, takes the toughest of defensive assignments. He also missed second most athletic player Peyton Watson, destroyed Denver's ability to keep up with Minnesota's blistering pace. Even two-way wing KCP helped cover Jamal Murray's weaknesses. Now he's been replaced by the overrated, overpaid, useless Christian Brown, who's been nothing but an absolute travesty out there. Possibly the worst starter in the entire league for a 50-win team. Having two good defenders in a 5-man lineup compared to 0 was what made the difference for the Nuggets. It's impossible to win a playoff series with a bad rim protector, all filled with bad defenders around him. Didn't help his teammates couldn't hit shots. When Jokic starts flopping and complaining, that's when you know he's out of solutions. His toughness also raises issues, letting Jaden McDaniel run his mouth. A non-all-star who called out every Nugget by name, said they're trash on defense and his team was gonna keep attacking. He told you what he was gonna do and you did nothing about it. Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, no response. This is why Jokic is not on Larry Bird's level. The analytics will favor Joker. But if a role player said this about Larry Legend, he would get abused. When the so-called best player gets called out like that and don't step up to figure his shit out to an inferior opponent, you're no longer the most feared. Look at what happened when all the role players in Jordan's era had the audacity to trash talk MJ. When guys try to talk Kobe, they not only get destroyed, it haunts them for the rest of their lives. And Jaden just running wild, did whatever he wanted out there, and there was no response. Absolutely weak. Keep in mind, Denver could have chosen to play the weaker Houston Rockets. Had they just lost to San Antonio last game of the regular season, underestimating the team that beat them 2 years ago. It's not a good look for Jokic, being this helpless on defense. Where's the leadership to get his team riled up? Oh wait, what happened last postseason? Russell Westbrook, the X Factor, energetic triple-double cocaine energy, get off my Dickerson referred to. Denver wouldn't have won the first round over the Clippers had it not been for Russ, the guy who would have gotten in Jaden McDaniel's face and be like, what's up? Having Rudy lock down Jokic in the paint and McDaniel destroying, abusing and annihilating Jamal Murray, who struggled to bring the ball under intense pressure, something Tyus Jones had no problem with Game 6. McDaniel himself played lockdown defense for 45 minutes, a 32-point double-double, looked like prime Kawhi Leonard out there. Many now questioning whether Jokic happy his season ended early so he can enjoy his horses, given how horrible Murray and David Adelman's been. Jokic losing out on rebounds, not boxing out hard enough, his gas tank being questioned. All that regular season sleepwalking defense had him looking gassed. The Wolves never had to worry about fatigue from any of their guys. This is the worst Jokic played since pre-2019. Seems more interested in taking the ball inbounding quickly than contesting a shot with a hand up. He's the one that needs to work with Hakeem this offseason. Should have worked out with Tim Duncan before Wemby's NBA arrival. Timmy D always put his hands up. Denver getting out rebounded 50-33, elimination game 6. They had every opportunity to gain momentum but constantly gave up multiple second chance points. This is the lowest point for the Nuggets in the Jokic era. Being good on defense has now become underrated. There's a reason why Wemby believes the best overall player back in December between Shea and Giannis, and when he comes back, it'll be him, admitting Jokic the best offensive player. Now with the rise of OKC and San Antonio, this current constructed Denver Nuggets team needs to break it up ASAP. It's over. Who knows if they have enough to sign Peyton Watson when they banked on Christian Brown based on potential. He's not even half of what KCP used to be. Losing in a 7-game series, going down fighting with every claw is one thing, but getting your ass kicked in round 1 to a banged up roster, unforgivable. 40-year-old Mike Conley and Terrence Shannon, the guards that beat you, that's just embarrassing. I'm not gonna go as far as the lame argument used against Jokic, saying he never beat a team with over 50 wins in the playoffs when he did defeat all your favorite players, sweeping LeBron and AD. That's more than something. Denver trading away the better MPJ for the smaller, inconsistent Cam Johnson, adding guys who didn't matter come playoff time, an absolute travesty. At least Cam's contract expires after next season. Time ticking for the Serbian sensation. He's done everything for the franchise possible. At this stage of his career, championships the only thing that'll move his legacy forward. Will Jokic have the audacity to demand out? Will he end up like Shaq going to Miami or waste away in an organization like what happened to Giannis these last 4 years? His future remains uncertain. He'll likely have another monster season come 2027. Finish top 3, most likely again for MVP, but come next April, all eyes will be on number 15.